We're happy to be chatting with Robert Robinson, who is very involved with the Aurora House in Toledo. He's also a golfaholic and does something unique every year to raise money for the Aurora House. Robert, welcome to Back Nine Report.
Oh, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and thank you very much for listening to this little crazy marathon of mine.
Robert, first of all, tell us a little bit more about the Aurora House project for the people that don't know what that is.
Well, the Aurora Project is a comprehensive housing and life skills program that's based in Toledo, Ohio. And what it does is it empowers women to really, first off, what it does is it allows women to catch their breath because women come in from all different situations: domestic violence, drug abuse, just losing their house due to economic circumstances. And what the Aurora Project does is it allows these women to catch their breath. And if the woman doesn't have, say, the requisite skills, say they don't have a high school diploma, Aurora is teamed with Penta to allow them to get their GED. They teach life skills. They teach parenting skills because some of the women come in with new babies and they really don't know how to take care of them. And so it's, as the mission says, it's a comprehensive program that teaches economic skills, general skills, and life skills. And what it does is it does all of this in a safe environment. The women are secure. The house is secure so that if there is domestic violence in their past, they don't have to worry about that. And what we find is that 70% of the women who go through the various programs that Aurora has uh, then go out and they are, at that point, people who own homes, they have jobs, and they're contributing to society rather than being that drain that you see in welfare. And so it really turns the women's fortunes around. And there are actually three phases of housing within Aurora: transitional housing, permanent supportive housing, and permanent housing, so that when a person, say, graduates from the main building, which is the Aurora House at 1132 North Superior, once they graduate out of there, they can go into a step-up house. And at that point, they have all of the resources of Aurora close by, but they are more on their own. And then they can graduate out to the point where they can own their own homes. And so this is the only agency in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan that allows women to keep their children or to bring their children into the home or the house while they're working through the issues that led to uh, their homelessness.
And in these times, government cutbacks and your funding has been cut a little bit from the government. So you rely heavily on private donations and private funding.
Absolutely. When I started with Aurora, actually, I started about 15 years ago donating, met Denise Fox. Next thing I know, I'm on the board. One of the first positions I had was treasurer. And so I could see the makeup of federal funding versus state funding. And over the last, say, 10 years, Aurora has lost 60% of the funding that they receive from government sources. And so that makes Aurora so much more reliant on private foundations and individuals to really be able to maintain the operations, be able to keep the doors open, be able to provide all of these services that set Aurora apart from all other agencies.
One of the ways, one of the big fundraisers you have every year is a golf outing. You do a lot of different things, but one of the
Oh,
things we're
yes.
involved in is the big golf outing you have every year at Toledo Country Club.
Oh, yes. And it's going to be on again August 9th, and we hope to see you there once again. Hopefully, you guys have a good time when you come out. Last year was a little wet, a little clammy, a little atypical, but we're hoping for good weather this time. But it's really kind of that tentpole event that we have to introduce people to the Aurora Project for the first time. In some cases, people had never heard of the Aurora Project. And the second is to raise funds for its operations.
So, in that light, needing more funding, you took up a project a couple years ago and do a golf marathon. Talk a little bit. Walk us through that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was
Are you nuts
I,
playing all those holes in one day?
that's what my wife asked me. But actually, I started it out, what was it, back in 2016 when I turned 55. So I said, okay, we're going to play 55 holes, uh, basically, and spaced it out over a Saturday and a Sunday. And so it was a nice, quaint little fundraiser that allowed us to raise some funds for Aurora. And I took a year off. The next year, I was actually changing jobs, but then I noticed that, yeah, it's the need was still there. And I think the thing that was special about 2018 was that my father had passed when he was 57. And so I was turning 57, and he had was he wa- he was an amazing athlete back in his day. He was in the Negro Leagues in baseball, and uh, he was starting right at the time that Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. So that pretty much sounded the end of the Negro Leagues. But he was an amazing athlete. But he was stricken with rheumatoid arthritis in his 30s. And I can barely remember times when I was able to go out and play catch with him. And the arthritis progressed and progressed until he was bedridden, and he died of related complications at the age of 57. And so when I saw, yeah, I was turning 57 the year that he passed, I said, okay, I've got to dust this off. I got to try it again. And I've done it every year since. So this is actually the fifth year. And in each successive year, we've made more and we've made more. And so over the over the 4 years at this, 5 years at this point, we've raised about $5,000. And so since I'm turning 60, since we have that magic turning of the odometer from 59 to 60, I wanted to do something special this time. And so that's why I wanted to get the word out early about 60 for 60. And so if anybody's on Facebook, they would see the hashtag 60 for 60 for Aurora. And what I want to do is raise at this point $5,000 in this 1 year. And so I know it's a pretty ambitious target, but Aurora really needs it for to keep its operations going.
And you have a couple ways to help here, so people can do pledges or they can do challenges.
Mhm.
One unique thing, you said that last year you had someone that donated $100 for every drive over 275. Well, they'd be pretty safe if I were playing. That's about a driver and a 7-iron for me. But for you, you collected on a couple of those. This year they actually doubled down. They're doing $100 for every drive over 250 and $200 for every drive over 275. So the challenges or pledges, they can go either way.
Yeah, and I really have to give a shout out to this person who wants to remain anonymous, but the donor knows the Aurora Project, and they know that I really want to raise a lot of money for it. So, and they're a little bit sadistic in some of the things that they've done. So yeah, the challenges last year were great. And actually, it saved me because last year I was diagnosed with arthritis in the back, the hips, and the shoulders. And the temptation was there just to shut it down, not to try to do the 59 holes last year. But this person stepped up and they said, okay, come on, you can do it. I'm going to issue you some challenges. And so this year, they've increased the challenges. And so now, as you mentioned, $100 for any drive over 275. Putts, actually, if it's more than 20 feet, it's $50, going up to $100 for more than 20 feet. Sorry, made putts for 20 feet are $50. And then if it's beyond 50 feet, then it's up to 100. And then the donor really, you can tell the donor likes golf because the donor got into some serious metrics like fairways and regulation, greens and regulation. So if I have fairways and regulation greater than 50%, that's $250. If it's 2/3, then it's $500. And so greens and regulation 50, 250 and 500 again for 50% and 2/3 again. But what this person also did was that they sweetened the pot with a hole-in-one bonus. And in the past, actually in 2018, that year that I restarted it, I had two aces in that weekend. And it was absolutely incredible. The second one was on Father's Day, and his father and son had never seen a hole in one. And so we were on that one hole at Heather Downs, the one that slopes down. And I knew I'd really tied into it. Nobody saw where it went, so we were all looking behind and all that kind of stuff. The father goes to the hole, pulls the plug, and there it is. And so that was their first hole in one, and so they had a great experience. But I give a $500 bonus for holes in one, and so in that year it was $1,000. And my wife said, "Are you sure you want to do this again?" And I said, "No, come on, it's like lightning striking." But this anonymous donor, this anonymous donor actually has put $1,000 into the kitty as well for a hole in one. And then this emboldened some of the people I work with. I have one person who's donating $100, another that's donating $1,000, and then my boss is donating the odd amount of 160460 if I make a hole in one. And so he said it's 160 for 60. So yeah, it was really, really cute. And I'd really love to be able to connect on that. But
Really?
as you know, it's a hole in one. So it's like lightning striking. But at this point, that pot for the hole in one is up to almost $4,000, which
Very
is
cool.
absolutely amazing. And you mentioned that we have ways to for people to get involved. And if a person wants to make a pledge, they can do so. And actually, they can go out to the auroraprojectinc.org. And then when you get to that site, you can see that there is a banner for news. You can click on it, and then it shows Robert's 60 for 60. Or they could just go out to auroraprojectinc.org/60 for FOR dash 60 dash with Robert. And that takes them to the same place. And they can actually make per hole donations or per hole pledges, or they can make pledges in a lump sum. In
You also
addition,
are on Facebook as well. If they want to find you, if you just go to your Robert Robinson Facebook page, you have
yeah,
information there as well.
yeah, and or you can actually go out to that hashtag 60 for, and in this case, it's hashtag 60 for the number 4, 60 the number 4 Aurora. And I'm tying everything into that. So if somebody wanted to get to me, that would be another way to do so as well. And if they wanted to make challenges, I would say challenge, go to that 60 for 60 and tell me that you want to make a challenge, or you can go to r.robinson@bex.net and just let me know what type of challenge you want to make. If you want to also, I will be buying foursomes, a foursome for each one of the courses that we'll be going to. So if somebody wanted to play a few holes and then peel off just like you do in a marathon, just let me know about that as well.
We've been talking with Robert Robinson, who is going to do his annual fundraiser for the Aurora House Project. This year it's 60 for 60, 60 holes as the age of 60, trying to raise money for a great cause. Robert, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with us, and we wish you a lot of luck this year. Also, we should mention it's over June 11th and
Yes.
12th and 13th weekend. We should mention that. I'm sorry, I forgot.
And you bring up a good point, because on Friday, June 11th, I'll be playing 6 holes of Corey Ridge to make up that little stagger. Then Saturday morning will be another 9 holes of Corey Ridge, followed by an afternoon on Saturday, hopefully at the Legacy. Then on Sunday morning, it would be Cherrywood for 9. And then Sunday, hopefully Heather Downs. I have to wait about a week to confirm those 2 18-hole courses. But once that's done, I'll definitely be publishing that as well.
Fantastic, Robert. Wish you a lot of luck for that. And thanks so much for coming on and chatting with us.
Thanks once again. And we definitely want to see you on August 9th for the Aurora Golf Classic.
We always enjoy it. It's always one of the highlights. It's a major in Toledo every year.
Oh yeah, it's one of those tentpole events that everybody should be attending.
Exactly. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.